Hey guys, Cyphus here, just giving you a quick update on what's happening on today's Monday episode. So, first and foremost, today is a re-release of sorts. For many of you, for the vast majority of you, this is a brand new episode. It's going to feature Ursi and Proud. This is a patron-exclusive episode that was posted on June 15th. It's called the mathematical theory of something, universal mathematic theory of something. It was posted on June 16th on the Patron exclusive episode feed. If you are not donating to Patreon, this is the type of content you get. We do two bonus episodes of DotP every month on the Patron exclusive feed, and you can get access to those for as little as $1 a month. And I mean, even though you've been hearing a little bit of advertising, you guys are your generosity, your support is still the primary way that we keep the lights on here at the DotP studio. Partially why you're getting this episode is, as you know, if you listened to the Monday episode last week, Roland is in the process of moving to a new location. If you follow us on Twitter, you saw him post the picture of the new house that's close to being finished. That's where the new studio is going to be. The current studio has always been in the backyard of Roland's current residence. It was an old shed that he converted into kind of a music studio at first, and it turned into a podcasting studio as time moved on. And we fell in love with Dota 2. It's soundproofed. I like it. It's cozy. It's small. It's very small. Fitting all this equipment in here means it gets very hot, and or in the winter, very very cold because we can't have any of the AC running or the heat running. Even though I had it running here at the start of this because this is just a little intro. You guys will forgive me. But yeah, it creates background noise that's terrible to listen to whenever you're a listener of a podcast. You don't want to hear the heater buzzing in the background. So we've suffered enough back here. Roland's gonna put the new studio inside the house at the new place, and I'm excited to see what it looks like. Even though we've been here for 3+ years doing the show, and I am gonna miss this place. Um, it's where this whole organization grew up. So and we got to meet a lot of you great people, and Ursi and Proud, and Beat Up, and Leafy Peachy, and so many other great people you've seen featured here on this show along the way. Breaky, hell, I always remember recording the first episode with Breaky here in the studio. So yeah, I'm excited to see the new place. I'm sorry to see the old place go, but because Roland is busy trying to pack up the house and get things moving, and he spends every other week down in Vegas, you're not going to get Roland this week, not me either. You're going to get Ursi and Proud on the Universal Mathematic Theory of Something. This was our 9th Patron exclusive episode. We are up to 15, and the 16th will be coming out here in a few days. So feel free to go over to patreon.com/defense of the patients to visit us. Since this episode does not have plugs, I'm going to do them all right here. Defenseofthepatients.com is the website. Follow us on Twitter at .p_show. And you can always email us, defenseofthepatients@gmail.com, and join us on Discord. It's been really awesome to catch up or just to meet people, and feel free to throw an at Cyphus out there and let me know that if you want to complain or uh, compliment. I'll take compliments too. I'm very good at taking compliments. I have a nice canned message I send back to everybody. I say thanks for the kind words because I actually am terrible at taking compliments, and it makes me feel very anxious. I don't know why. Maybe because secretly I have low self-esteem, even though we talk into the mics all the time. This is what you get whenever I have to rambling record an intro to a show. It's just me blabbering and wondering what the next thing I say should be. Thank God I have a co-host, even if it is Roland. So I know some of you are going to be happy to see that Roland is gone this week. Some of you are going to be sad. Know that he is going to be coming back. We'll be doing some more episodes soon. So we move out of the studio October 17th will be the last time that we're able to record here. We won't be able to record until early December, I think, in the new studio. So you're going to get about 6 weeks of us recording in sort of a makeshift location. We'll still be releasing episodes. We'll still keep up on all the content. It shouldn't impact Ursi and Proud on Theorycraft Thursday. It should have very minor impact on Teach Me Tuesdays. And obviously, Breaky Show will be great and solid moving forward too. So we're working on all this. We'll keep it up. It's going to be busy. We'll keep you updated as we go. But yeah, that's the basics. That's what's going on, folks. Did I already do plugs? Defenseofpatience.com. I think I did. I see now. I forget. All right, that's it. I love you guys. We'll see you soon, and I hope you enjoy the show.
All right, hello everybody. This is a Patreon-exclusive episode. Patron-exclusive even. Is it? Would it be either? Anyway, my co-host Proud.
It's both.
Yeah, it's both. Yeah, because it's directed towards patrons, but it is through the platform of Patreon.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it can go either way.
Because I mean, you could technically be a patron that's like, I mean, but like not through Patreon, you know, like.
Yeah, but then they wouldn't get it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, you could be a by definition patron, but if you're not like patron, you know, trademarked patron,
Yeah.
then it doesn't matter.
You need the capital P.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, so this is one of these episodes. It's a very casual show. It's just me and Proud today. We
got ditched.
Yeah, we got ditched a little. We delayed for a few days. We were like, schedules are hard. And then we ended up just giving up. And then it's just the two of us. But that's fine because the two of us, like, we could talk more than enough for the next hour.
Sure.
So, you know, this is a casual show. We don't have to like really format anything. We can just kind of.
You could just do nothing.
Yeah, we could just sit here. Yeah,
just, like,
let's just read our Twitter
up.
feeds.
Yeah, well, I mean, we don't have. We just can just like, and then you know, if I like find something, I'll link it to you, and you'll be like, "That I don't. That's that funny," and I'll be like, "Sorry."
We could talk about the fact that I went bowling last night, and I am so bad at bowling. I went in Boston.
Can you like? I want a real definition of what bowling is and why people do it.
It's fun. It's you roll a ball down a lane and then you hit pins.
Thank you.
It's fun.
Is that what it is? You roll a ball in a lane?
Yeah. What kind of question is this?
I'm just asking.
I'm dazed and confused. So
okay.
You got me thrown off now. I almost said off kilter. I've been saying off kilter constantly recently.
Yeah.
And I'm like way too conscious of
it. In
just great.
Craft,
but
I was like, Jesus.
Yeah. We went bowling for the Boston meetup. It was the night before you and Scrunk got in. And I was really bad then, but I had been drinking. So I was like, oh, I'll be better, you know, last night when I went, because obviously I had not been drinking. And I was like, oh, I'll be fine at bowling. Bowling's not that hard. I suck at bowling, dude. It's so conceptually easy and practically difficult that, boy, I think I'm joining a bowling league, or basically with friends too. So I got to like get good. And I'm really not good in like any way, shape, or form. It's a little shameful.
Yeah, I wasn't bad at bowling when I was young enough to have the little side things, the bumpers up, and it not be embarrassing. And eventually I got old enough to not have the side bumpers up, and I never bowled again.
Yeah, bowling's also kind of thing, kind of like pool, where you get good at it while playing, and like you like regain talents that you once lost, but then you don't play for so long in between sessions that you then have to relearn it every single time you play. That's what I have with pool. I don't know, or billiards, but you know, whatever. Is every time I play pool, I'm like, all right, by the end of the game, I'm confident and I'm feeling good about myself and my play. Yeah. But then I don't play for like 6 months. And then next time I play, I'm like, I'm terrible for the first half hour, and then I'm okay for the next.
Yeah,
just
that's
terrible.
Like me last hitting on Drow.
Yeah, exactly.
By the end of the laning phase, I got that shit down, but that doesn't really help when I only,
Yeah, I think I bowled like an 80, which is like abysmal.
Yeah, that's bad, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely not good. I mean, I was bowling with other people that are bad at bowling, but yeah.
Were you the worst, or were you just like...
Oh, yeah. Well, no, I didn't. I came in last the first time, but the first time I threw two full frames of gutter balls, which is like it's nigh impossible to win once you've like literally got 0 points 2 frames in a row. Yeah. Second game, though, I came in second to last, and I improved significantly. And I threw a strike. No, I threw 2 strikes. So
I'm proud of you, dude.
It's all a gradual improvement. But
great.
Yeah, I suck at bowling. That's my reflection of the week, basically.
Okay.
Other than that, let's just talk about Dota. It's always a little hard like when we record these, since we have recorded Theory Crafting Thursday so recently. But then again, everybody knows it's Dota, so you know you can talk about it endlessly.
Yeah, thank fucking God, dude.
Can I? So I had a Twitter rant the other day after a particularly frustrating game, and I kind of want to talk about it.
I have 3 Treasure Tuesday open.
Oh yeah, those came out today. Have you not opened all of them?
No, I was in bed trying to contemplate the meaning of anything.
That's fun. Well, I opened 21
Chaos
of them.
Knight. All right, we got the only thing we wanted.
I got the gold version of the Chaos Knight shield.
I don't care. That stuff looks fucking awful.
No, it's great, dude. It's expensive looking.
I hate you so much, you fucking piece of shit.
That's what's important, dude.
Hey,
you just gotta show
thing.
off.
Never gonna play
Pudge
this
one's cool too.
Yeah, I need to see like how the animations for them look, because all I did was I saw and the Lena one. I guess that's fine. Like
yeah, the Lena one's.
Sorry, what were you gonna say? Because what you had to say
continue.
super important.
The Lena one does not look great, but the LSA
you just
effect
said,
that it has
you
is
continue,
cool.
and then you continue to your own fucking thing to say.
Well, you've paused. I was like, oh, it's my turn because he's,
It was like there was like no in music there's like the quarter rest, like there was no quarter rest in you. It was just like straight up eighth notes, and one of them was I'm going to stop. Okay, here's my thoughts about the Lena one. It's like I can't follow along with this one. The lyrics don't match up to the fucking tempo.
We're reading off of 2 different kinds of sheet music. It's 2 different songs.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm looking
Different
for a pause.
wavelengths.
You're reading the tabs. You're just like, fucking, I'm just gonna hit this power chord nonstop. Anyway, as I was saying, on like the summit or whatever, they were like looking at the sets and they were just like judging them by how they looked at like on like the onset. Like you look at them in the chest and you're just like, oh, okay. But like that's not what immortals are for. They're not for that. They're for how it looks when you cast the spelly spells. I don't give a shit about like fucking like the CM ugly ass hat. I care about the little frost nova that comes with it.
I don't mind that hat. I like that hat.
It's a bad hat.
CM has so many immortals, but the immortal staff is just so stupid looking. The one with the ward. There's an immortal staff. Yeah. It's like an observer ward or a sentry ward or something. I actually don't know, but it is an immortal.
Well, scarcely an immortal if it doesn't do anything.
Yeah, it's like the Lena Arcana of immortals, where like technically it has a tag, but that's about it.
Yeah.
I got distracted when you brought up tabs.
Chaos Knight ability. Oh, what's the Pudge one? Is it for hook?
No, it's for rot. Makes your rot like red around you. It fits my aesthetic of my Pudge very well, of like this black and red pirate person.
Ooh, this Chaos Knight thing is interesting.
It's pretty fancy. It may be like the most. I was going to say the most best, but it may be the best out of the chest. I also got the Coddle Pegasus.
Yeah, I haven't seen the Coddle one. Is that for Illuminate? Oh, I like it.
Yeah, it makes your Illuminate into like one long like Pegasus going forward instead of like a bunch of horses.
You mean like wide? It's like one long horse, and I was like, that sounds weird. That's kind of like already what it is, but it's like a long fucking horse. Like the entire distance that Illuminate goes is just one horse, not galloping. It just exists.
I was thinking of it the other way, actually. I was thinking of it being like pushed, and it was just like it was lengthwise, like wide. And just like so it'd be like power sliding down or like drifting.
Fucking Keeper of the Light, equestrian drift or something. Is this a horse fucking drift? This fucking like initial D music as this goddamn horse flies at you. I love it.
I got immortal. I recycled a whole bunch, which got me a whole bunch of levels, which got me some treasure 1s, and I also got another of the Broodmother Immortal, and I got the Slark headpiece, which I don't know if you've seen it in game.
Ugly as shit.
Yeah, it's not great. I mean, you know me, I'm gonna use it anyway.
God, you're like the worst. Like it's not just like I think it looks bad. I just like disagree with you on like a philosophical level at this point.
I find that perfectly rational, and I'm sure in another world I would disagree with myself philosophically. This is cool. I like the thing that's bad is that they used to, and this will be my love of gems and inscriptions and all that from like Dota 1 or Dota 2 items from like early days, like Source 1 days. Now there are no, like all the effects are tied to the item instead of tied to gems. So like Kunkka set, I have a bunch of effects from a different set because I ripped the gems out of that set and put them into my new set. So I have the particle effects without using the stupid, without using this ugly old set. And now with all these new immortals and stuff, you can't do that. Like you can't, like with a new Lena, with a new Lena item, it's like, yeah, the LSA is cool, but you can't take the LSA gem out of or the effect out of the item and put it into a different item that looks better.
Yeah.
So a lot of my immortals go to waste.
Forced to use this immortal. Yeah, it's kind of annoying, honestly.
It's silly. Also, like they would make more money if they still had the old system because they would be selling artificers' chisels and hammers. I've probably spent like $20 on artificers' chisels and hammers just because I like gems so much and stat tracking and all that.
It also creates the situation where like, okay, so I can use this like cool piece of gear that an artist used. Or, like, but then I won't have my fucking immortal effect. Like, what the fuck? Like, I can't not have my immortal effect. Like, that's, like, I'm not, like, low class. I have this immortal. I played the game. TI happened, and I was aware of it, so I have an immortal now. It's, like, a thing that I earn. And then, like, some artist makes a sweet-ass set, but I can't take advantage of it.
Yeah.
Because I have to fucking use my immortal. It sucks.
Yeah, it's rough. And, like, fortunately, a lot of sets, sometimes you can get away with, like, oh, well... So, for instance, with the Dark Artistry Invoker set, the effects are all tied to the cape, so you don't need to have the actual full set. You can just use the cape. Then you can kind of work around it. So there are some instances like that, but I just want gems back. And, like, they did away with a lot of the gem systems so some heroes have hero-specific gems, like Invoker has, like, a Sunstrike kills and a Tornado kills, but then a lot of heroes have nothing. So, like, AM does not have any specific gems, like Mana Void kills or whatever. So you just have to, use generic, like, kills, gold earned, towers taken gems. So it's too bad they did away with that system, especially because, like, stat tracking is such an attractive thing, I think, for, like, everybody. Like, everybody likes stat tracking, as far as I'm concerned.
This Elder Titan.
The Elder Titan one's pretty cool, too.
It is, and I like the ones that are, like, it's actually just like a better graphic for the spells, like there's like some hero that's what am I thinking of? Is it like the Magnus Q, his shockwave, like the immortal for his shockwave actually like goes out like it's like a like a cone, like his spell actually is, so it actually looks, or it's rather, the graphic is more representative of what the spell does. So it's like, oh, if we could take another pass at it, we would have it look like this. And like the Echo Stomp, like it shows when the Echo Stomp is gonna like happen better than the other one. And it shows like how big the radius is better than the other one. So big fan. I'm glad this exists.
Yeah, I think this is a pretty solid chest overall. And it came out at a good time because people were talking about, the prize pool's like middling out. And then so they announce this and then they make their bank. And then, all is right in the world. We will pass last year's TI prize pool.
All right. Am I going to like this Pudge, though?
Yeah. I think the Pudge's good. People don't like it.
It's fine. Whatever.
The Steam Summer Sale starts on the 22nd also in like a week or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Are you excited? Are you going to buy things or not? All right. You're very responsible. I have like two things that I'm looking at to buy.
What do I want that I don't have, like
games?
But like what games?
I don't know. I always just buy a bunch of RPGs that I like probably won't play.
Yeah, I can't buy Nier for my PS4 on the Steam Summer Sale. And
why would you buy it for PS4?
Because then I can play it in bed.
Oh, that's fair.
Not like at my computer.
That's fair.
That's why I would do that.
That makes sense. I think. Yeah. What's the game that I'm looking to buy? I always forget the freaking name of this game. Let's see. And it's always impossible to find. Oh, there's which list.
Mobile Suit Gundam.
I'm looking to buy. I want to buy No Man's Sky. That was the game I want to play. I want to buy.
Every person I've ever heard who has ever said that has then instantly regretted everything they've ever said in their life.
Well, that's how it was initially, but it's gotten a bunch of really big patches. And like apparently it's like fun now.
Keeps telling me that like they changed everything and it's actually good now, and then it's like the same fucking game.
I wouldn't say it's good, but I have heard that it is significantly better, and it's like a game that's up my alley in the sense that like I can just kind of play it and zone out for like an hour if I want to kill some time. But
yeah, I mean,
also maybe Just Dance 2017 will go on sale. That would be nice.
Oh, thank God, finally.
The Just Dance games are honestly the best games ever made. Like Dota 2 is a close second, but Just Dance series is so good. 2018 is gonna have Bubble Pop by Hyuna also. So
Thank
like
God.
we're living in the future.
I remember watching GSL, and Bubble Pop was there at about 2011.
Yeah, it's an old song. I think it's a 2012 song, something like that.
So I'm glad that I know that song exists from watching StarCraft.
It's a good song, dude. That's like one of the formative songs that got me into K-pop. Yep.
Like, fuck yeah, dude. That's what happens when you have a bubble for more than a few seconds. It goes pop.
It's great.
I don't know what games exist that I would want to buy.
Just looking at my wish list, and it's mostly free to play MMOs that I just put on my wish list so that I know, like, I remember them.
Yeah, I'm sure I have a wish list. Where's my wish list?
I might buy Tales of Berseria.
Okay.
Which is a new Tales game, which is apparently very good, but with JRPGs, always just I buy them and then I can't finish them because like I have too many other things to do. Like I can't.
Divinity Original Sin 2. I have the first one of this. I didn't finish it, but I liked it.
I have the second one on my thing also. Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't realize it was $45.
Yeah, right. I need a Steam
This
Summer
is like
Sale
a $30 game.
Yeah. There's that Ori game. Ori's cute.
Ori and the Blind Forest. People love that
the
game.
Blind Forest. Does that cost money? What is this?
Yeah, I assume it costs money.
Yeah, okay. It didn't say like everything else has a price tag on it, but this one didn't. So I was like, what?
I also have World of Fishing on my wish list. It's a free game.
Yeah, well, maybe one day you'll have the money to afford it.
Yeah. Well, I just keep it there for organizational purposes because, man, fishing games are great. It sounds like a joke, but like Rapala Pro Fishing for the Xbox 360, I played so much of that game. And then I broke the disc. So rest in peace.
Maybe I'll buy one of the Wolfenstein games because I'm just like really into killing Nazis right now.
I've tried to get into the Wolfenstein games. I bought on the last sale. I bought what's the newest one? Yeah, New Order. Because people are like, oh, it's good, and I was like, like there's robot like dinosaurs. I didn't sign up for this.
Yeah. Yes, I want some of those like, oh hey, you know what fucking trend I'm like super fucking tired of, and this may sound kind of just like, oh, like a no fun allowed kind of thing, but like, oh, check this out because this thing that you ordinarily wouldn't expect to happen happens. Like oh man, it's got robot dinosaurs. Yeah, it's got robot dinosaurs. I'm like, I don't give a shit. Like, why? Why does it have there? Like, oh hey, here's a comic book panel where Superman says dick. I'm like, what? Like, I don't care about this thing that's like, I know it's weird that that's happening, but it's not I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not like what's that stereotype, like the weird, quirky, oh god, what's it called? It's a word that I hate. It's oh my god, now I'm not gonna be able to think of it.
What?
But you remember like there were shows like New Girl with what's her name? Oh
Zoe,
my god, this is gonna kill me. Zoe Deschanel.
Yeah.
Or Deschanel.
Dream Girl?
No, like New Girl, the show New Girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, have that whole like oh, it's quirky, she's weird. I was like, I don't care. This is not what I want in my media. I feel you on that one. Like the robot dinosaur thing specifically has just been played out. Like zombies and all that got played out over time. Now like every game has robot dinosaurs, and it's like, all right, it's not quirky. It's just like trite.
Yeah,
I'm not into it.
It's just fucking derivative and pithy at this point.
Pithy, that's a good word.
Pithy is an awful word, and just because I have one experience of when I like moved to Southern California. My friend who was in like grad school, the first class that she went to, she came back and she was like, someone fucking said pithy in my class, and I hate this. And I was like, that sounds awful. Man, I'm so sorry you had to surround yourself with people who like go out of their way to say pithy in the middle of class.
Yeah, I appreciate weird words like that. So, like, it is pretentious. There's like a time and a place, right? Like, sometimes people use words that they should not be using.
You know, like, it's a muscle, but you don't gotta flex it. It works on its own.
Yeah. Especially if it complicates communication in like a pretentious way. Like, sometimes you use a word like that, and it's like, oh, that's really, you know, descriptive and perfect. Yeah. And then other times it's like, well, why don't you just say like, oh yeah, it was just trite, like, or trite is even probably in that category. Like, what's the exact definition of pithy actually?
I probably used it wrong, honestly.
Pithy, of language or style concise and forcefully expressive, of a fruit or plant containing much pith.
Yeah, that's
so I guess pith is a noun. I'm constantly amazed. Oh yeah, pith, a soft or spongy tissue in plants or animals in particular.
Yeah, that's
the essence of
definition
something
I was using.
Yeah, well, I think you used it right, but
no, I didn't.
Yeah, concise and forcefully expressive.
Robot dinosaurs are not that at all.
Oh, okay, never mind. I was just going along with it.
No,
because I didn't remember the context of the word
I honestly just wanted to throw it out because that's not what the sounds pithy sound like.
Yeah,
like
sounds like
pithy.
Overdone.
Yeah, like kind of like I don't know, like needlessly kind of like
complex.
Silly, pleasant, and bubblegum, disgusting, and shitty.
Okay, so with this themed summer sale coming up, if you had to tell people like 3 games to buy if it's on sale that they may not have played, what would they be?
Orcs Must Die 1, Orcs Must Die 2, and let me look at my Steam library to see if I own any other games.
Let's see.
I might actually just end it there.
Okay, just those 2? I actually have not played those games.
Besiege is one of the only early access games I've ever bought, but man, that was fucking fun.
Yeah, Besiege is fun for like an hour and a half.
Like, yeah, I played as much content as they had out when I bought it, and I was like, good, we got it. Yeah, no,
I suck at those games.
Orcs Must Die 1 and 2, and then... man, honestly, like, I'm gonna use this small amount of time to say if you haven't played Spec Ops: The Line, highly recommend.
It's actually gonna be one of mine also.
Really?
So good.
Yeah, so, I mean, this game, it just looks like, oh, it's a fucking stupid-ass shooter game, again. But it's not. It's awesome, and it's a fucking good narrative. And, it just uses, like, honestly, kind of the most boring shooter mechanics that I've ever played in my life, but that's because those don't matter at all. They're super generic, but the mechanics don't matter. You're not playing the game for the fucking mechanics. It's a great story, and there's a lot of crazy-ass shit that goes on that I didn't even know about until after I read about it, and I was like, wow, they did a lot of crazy-ass shit I didn't even notice.
Yeah, it is very
it's
good.
Pretty short, too. It's also short, which I like.
Yeah, I beat it in 5 hours total, and like that was with me.
Oh yeah, I have 7 hours on it.
Yeah, and that was with me like doing some of the side stuff too. It's very good, like, you know, week-long experience if you want to just play it gradually.
I had to take breaks because I was like,
yeah, me too,
shook.
It's something. Okay, so let's see. My games I would say to check out, first and foremost, the new era Tomb Raider games are very, very fun and relaxing to play. Highly recommend those. What else would I buy if I had not played it yet on the Steam sale?
Valhalla, Cyberpunk Bartender Action.
Influent, if you guys are trying to learn a new language, Influent is super cheap. You can buy it on the market for like $2 or something regularly. But if it goes on sale in the Steam sale, it'll be even cheaper. Influent's great. It's just like a language learning game that's very fun, and like you can spend 15 minutes in and like learn something and leave. So highly recommend Influent if you have any, like if you're refining a second language you already know, or if you are trying to learn a language. It's very fun. It's primarily just nouns. Like basically you play as a guy and then you walk around your apartment that has different sections, obviously. And you do like time trials where like every item you click tells you the item in English, and then in the second language, and whatever. And it tells you different spellings if there's different like systems of writing.
If I'm gonna have to remember anything that you're saying right now, I'm super zoned out.
Yeah, well, you're not like a language person, are you? Like you're
I mean,
not thrilled by language.
I I would say that I am.
Yeah. No, I mean like other languages, like learning languages and whatnot.
I mean, I don't do it actively because I'm bad at everything, but I would like. I mean, I have a couple language apps on my phone.
Yeah, well then you should get Influent. It's like a language app for your computer.
Okay.
I was recently thinking, I was like,
Man, that's
I
like
am
not the reason that's like the opposite of what I want a
know.
language app to be. I don't want it on my
Man,
fucking computer.
If Influent was on phone, that would be ideal.
Okay. Well,
I was
maybe
recently
next
thinking
time.
that because I don't have like the work ethic to learn a second language in any degree of like fluency or seriousness. Granted, I have no reason to, but I was thinking it would be great if I could get a program or something, and I'm not computer competent enough to design this myself or whatever. But it would be nice to have a program that would basically lock out other things until I complete like a lesson in like, you know, a like Rosetta Stone, or if I did 10 minutes of Influent, or if I did like some kind of language learning thing. So it would force me actively to like, all right, I cannot do what I want to do until I complete this productive task of my day. Obviously, like I have no freaking like that's not a realistic thing. Maybe there is a way that I could do that, but I feel like that would be really cool. But I don't have the work ethic to do it myself. Like I can't enforce my own thing unless I like my computer forces me to do it.
Yeah.
Other games, let's see. I'm sure on my list there's like some other random game very fun. Not really, maybe. I don't know. It's just the Tomb Raider games. I just like those games so much.
Okay.
That's it. I'm looking through my list.
Yeah, I've never played a Tomb Raider game in my life, honestly.
You should. I didn't play the old ones like when I was a kid, but the new ones are very fun if you want to like kill, you know, a dozen or so hours and just have like a fun, relaxing RPG experience with good graphics and good combat mechanics.
How good are the graphics?
I mean, they're like average good. Like they are, you know, good. Like they're fine. They're passable. Not like anything stellar, but they're solid, good graphics.
I was looking for a very good, but thank you.
Very good, yeah. They have crazy. They have that super crazy hair graphic thing engine.
Oh yeah, man. You know me. I like hair. Hair is very cool to Proud. If you ask him if hair is cool in the third person, fuck yeah, he'll say it's cool.
Man, and
that was like a very good for like to start out the shit.
I'm still looking for
song.
Games. Dragon Age Origins, if you haven't played that.
Shit. Like if you just kept going like that, that would have been great for me.
That would have been great. It did not happen though, and it will not happen. I
don't actually know the words that come after that.
Dragon Age Origins Ultimate Edition. It goes on sale every Steam sale. If you have not played it by this point, like, what are you doing?
Probably playing something else or having a job. All right, you don't have to get judgy.
I mean, it's not that long of a game.
How long is it?
You could do a lot.
How many hours do you have in it?
I've done 2 playthroughs and I have 30 hours.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, it's really not. You've played this, right?
Like a long time ago.
Okay, it's very fun. The newer Dragon Age games are not as good, or the new one.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Inquisition fucking sucks.
I wouldn't go that far, but it is not as good as Origins.
How is it supposed to hold my attention?
I haven't played. I played it on release for like a dozen hours, and then I stopped. I dropped it.
Yeah, that's because it sucked.
Yeah, I mean,
if it didn't suck, you would have finished it.
I don't finish a lot of good games though. That's the thing. Like,
okay, well I do, and it sucked.
Okay, that's fair.
I'm desperate for any distraction from anything, and if I'm just like sitting there staring at a void, and then I'm like, I would rather continue to stare at a void than finish playing your game. Like, there's a problem with your fucking game, dude. Like,
yeah, that's fair.
I'm replaying Torchlight. Torchlight does not have replay value, really. Like, I mean, it kind of does, but it's so much like I'm just playing it because it's distracting. But like, if replaying Torchlight is better than your fucking like AAA title that I got for my PlayStation fucking 4 that I can like play from bed. Like, if I'm getting out of bed, if I'm getting out of bed to play a game that I've already played instead of your game, like something happened. Something happened in the development process that went awry.
Yeah, really all that happens with these Steam sales for me is I buy a bunch of RTS games thinking I'm going to play them and then literally
dude,
never
are there
touch
any
them.
good RTS games that I haven't played? I still have Legacy of the Void and I haven't played it, but StarCraft is kind of dead to me.
The
Until
last
they
one
bring
I
the greens
played
back.
for any amount of time really was Anno 2070 or Anno 2070, how you pronounce it.
Oh yeah, I haven't
That
played
game was actually really good.
Yeah, I've heard. I really wanted to play Sins of a Solar Empire, but I never did because I didn't ever have a really good friend who pushed me into doing it.
Yeah, I had friends that
So-
were super into that game. I never played it though because I don't do
Yeah,
space
Sins
stuff.
of a Solar.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I'm not big
Well.
on space.
Yeah. No, I know you're not. I've had a number of friends who are really into fantasy, but not space at all.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say I'm super into fantasy, but space just does not.
Okay. Yeah.
Like I'm just not a space kind of guy. Like space,
Yeah.
like all the space simulator or like RTS games are also grandiose, and I'm like, man, I don't need this. Like it's just a bit much.
Yeah. There's I read like a pretty good sorry, I got distracted by the name of a song and it was Shred Cruise and okay, that's not off Santa Cruz, that's off Ted Cruz, but instead the name is Shred Cruise. That's kind of funny.
That's
Anyway,
clever.
Yeah, you know what? Fun fact, like weird like DIY punk / emo songs or whatever, they all have the best song names ever. Like track 1 on this album, Metallica Rules. That's a good song name. Anyway, and the band is called, or I guess it's on a split, so there's 2 bands, but one of the bands is called Mom Jeans with a period. It's good. And one of their songs has fucking like Bob's Burgers. There's a part where Linda has like Linda has like a band and they're called like Mom Jeans or whatever. And in the middle of a song, there's a clip from that. I'm talking about turn this band into a lean, mean Mom Jeans machine. It's just like Linda talking in the middle of the song. I'm like, this is great. Anyway, what was I going to talk about?
Oh boy, I have no clue.
Yeah, shit. What were you just saying?
You started that with saying I got distracted by, and then went to the distraction, and now we're both distracted.
Yeah, we're both very distracted. I just want to one of these songs is Scott Pilgrim versus My GPA. Like these are good song names.
That is clever.
Thank
That
you.
reminds me of like when I was into Nerdcore and MC Chris and MC Frontalot and all those.
Yeah.
Where they had some great like concepts for albums and song titles and stuff. Like how MC Chris has an entire album's worth of songs that are only about bounty hunters from Star Wars and various kinds of vehicles. So, like one of his
that was really close to what we were talking about.
was it? I doubt
think
it.
So
Oh,
yeah,
space. We're talking about space games and how I don't like space
God.
games.
Thank
Bringing it
God
all
that
back.
all looped back around. Amazing.
God
I'm
bless
sure listening to
America.
this was like, you're so close. You're so close.
Yeah.
And then we found it. So I read a long time ago about, maybe not a long time ago. The time frame really doesn't matter.
Time is a
except
man-made construct. It's fine.
pretty much doesn't even exist, which you can read about in certain sci-fi books. A difference between like writing sci-fi or like just the genre of sci-fi versus fantasy, and it's more like sci-fi isn't really escapism because most science fiction works like they're more grounded, right? It's not like a reimagining of the past and like a changing of everything. It's just like this is like a direction that we can go, and it kind of works off like it's kind of like satirizing where you just like hyper exaggerate some aspect that is somewhat plausible in the future, and then like you can like use that as like a critical take or whatever, like a lot of like cyberpunk sci-fi and that sort of thing. It's not like cyberpunk is not fantasy. That's like dread. Like you're like things could get so bad going in this direction that we could end up like fucking this. And you're like, oh god, like that's not fantasy. That's like a warning. This is a stark contrast between fucking like, oh yeah, everyone's gonna live in a little pod and you need to get surgery to interact with machines, and then if you do something wrong, the fucking Neo Yakuza is gonna come down and then like fucking bash your jack in, and then you can't do it anymore, and then you're like a third class citizen in this place made out of tubes. And I'm like, shit, I don't want that to happen. And that's vastly different from you're an elf and you can shoot fireballs out of your ears. Like those are not comparable like means of escapism. It's not. Yeah,
That's fair.
Anyway,
I never thought about it that way, but that makes a lot of sense.
Someone else did, and now I do too.
Yeah, that's clever, and I'm sure I will from now on. I'm not super into
It's true, though,
sci-fi
dude.
just
Like,
in
any-
general.
Yeah, no, I like sci-fi a lot. Well, like I mean some sci-fi stuff, but yeah.
Yeah. I'm not very genre specific, I guess, with my content that I consume. It's like I don't they're not genres I hate and they're not necessarily genres that I really like, but specific properties. So like I'm not super into fantasy, like I don't seek out fantasy,
Yeah.
but I will read fantasy or watch fantasy or whatever if this show specifically or the book or what have you or the game
Yeah,
is
I mean,
enjoyable.
You're more like historical grounded than fantasy.
Yeah,
In my
yeah, I guess
opinion.
so. That's fair. That's a fair
Yeah.
assessment of my taste.
Like I don't think that you really like super wild, high, crazy fantasy. Like the Game of Thrones where it's like more grounded seems more like your kind of cup of tea.
That's fair. Yeah. But I also, yeah, because so my problem with consuming a lot of media, and this applies to fantasy and sci-fi and, any number of different genres, is that we were talking about this recently, actually, because both of us have watched The Magicians on sci-fi. My problem with a lot of shows and other forms of media is that once you get into like a really like high fantasy level or like a really high level sci-fi or whatever, the capabilities become so robust for the characters within the product or within the universe that it opens up all these logical holes that just bother the heck out of me, and it ruins my enjoyment of that content. If it's a show like The Magicians, which is a very enjoyable show that both of us really enjoyed, but there were just so many logical things because like everybody just had arbitrary amounts of power that escalated and de-escalated at seemingly arbitrary periods and points in time and all that, and that just ruined the entire series for me. I was like, I'm enjoying this, but it's so grandiose and it's so foreign that I have no conceptual understanding of how the power levels work or how the understanding works or how the school system works or how, X, Y, and Z. That's what really bothers me. And that's why I stay away from a lot of like high fantasy and a lot of like super deep sci-fi. Because it's like, well, if you have like magic computers that can do everything in a sci-fi, then like, why do you have problems? Like, why not like, or if you have medicine for everybody, like why doesn't it just get mass produced or why don't, yada, yada, yada. All those problems, and it just
look too
bothers
deeply
me.
into the Marvel universe. You're like, oh, okay, Mr. Fantastic's the smartest dude on the planet or whatever. Why isn't he fucking cured cancer? Like, what are you doing? You figured out how to punch through like cure these kind of random ass hyper diseases made by Red Skull or whatever in the middle of fucking, I don't know, a cave with a box of scraps or some shit. But you can just like maybe take out cancer, maybe, I don't know, solve a housing crisis or something. Yeah. Could you try to do that one? There's like, no, I can't. I don't think I can do that one.
And there's always some arbitrary reason why they can't too. Yeah. It's like, oh, but I can't do that because it's gonna mess the timeline. Well, it's gonna mess the timeline.
Magicians did have a pretty good answer for cancer though, which does rhyme, I want to point out. And they were like, a lot of people, we haven't been able to figure out cancer. A lot of people think that cancer is actually like a magic based curse. And I was like, that's actually kind of cool, honestly. That's kind of cool. That's like a nice...
But then there were so many other problems.
Yeah, but it's like, okay, that's only going to work once. You can't tell me everything that sucks is actually a crazy magic curse.
Broken bones are magically broken. Yeah,
okay, like, but they fixed bones in seconds.
Exactly. But like they don't fix every bone for like every little kid that falls out of a tree.
Well, yeah,
right?
because,
like,
I mean, that's like unimportant. Like, you got better shit to do than... I mean, it's like your fault.
Not necessarily. I mean, if you like break a bone, then it can mess with you going forward, and then like it'll break easier next time.
I can't take a break every time someone breaks a fucking bone, you know?
I guess. Have you ever broken a bone, Proud?
No, of course not.
Really? I feel like that's an important experience to have.
Do you have any fucking idea how much milk I've drank?
I have no clue.
Drank even in my entire life.
I don't drink milk. I hate milk.
Well, I do not hate milk anymore, or I used to not. Now I'm slightly, I get a little queasy if I drink too much.
Let's see. I've broken both my wrists twice. Actually, I broke one once, and then the other 3 times were all just like a bunch of like fractures.
Okay.
So
how many masturbation jokes do you get about that?
None.
How often do you tell people about this?
Almost never. It doesn't come up in conversation often.
No, why not?
Most people aren't on a podcast where they're like
icebreaker. Like, hello, I've broken this wrist once and this wrist 3 times, and they're like, that's such an interesting fact about you.
Yeah. Well, it's just the thing. Like No, like it comes up now because we're like trying to figure out.
What colors am I gonna draft in Amonkhet today? Because I'm gonna go draft Magic.
Okay. Have you watched any of Roland and Cyphus playing Magic?
Yeah, I watched a little bit, and man, I wish that they knew the rules before they played. Because the first game they played, Cyphus drew on turn 1, and I was like, "You cheating fuck."
Yeah, I've not involved myself in that because I've literally never played Magic. I think I own like a few cards that I bought in a pack once when I was like 8, and I was like, "Oh, these look nice."
Yeah, okay.
And yeah, so I've not involved myself, but apparently people are enjoying it.
Yeah, no, it's good. I mean, I liked listening to it in the background, and I liked there was like one time where Roland was cool because like in Magic, it's pretty easy to tell when you're fucked. You know, like in StarCraft, where you don't GG after you lose your last building, you GG when your army dies, and you're like, okay, like
yeah,
I'm done.
I realize
and, like, Magic
lost,
is pretty similar, but of course, Roland versus Cyphus is never gonna fucking work out like that. I mean, Cyphus will scoop when he scoops, but he's gonna be like, I'm fucked. Can't fucking do it. Whatever. I'm done. That was stupid. I could have won last turn, but I made a mistake. Whatever. I'll scoop. And then Roland is just like, no, shut up. Let me figure this out. There's gotta be a way. Shut up, Cyphus. I gotta figure it out. And then he scoops 5 minutes later. And like that was pretty enjoyable. But a lot of the stuff was like, hey, how does this mechanic work? And it's like, I know how it works, and there's no way another human would know how this works unless they really like had been playing Magic for a while. But I just had to watch them not do it, and it was very hard to watch.
Okay.
The banter is great though. I loved it.
I'm glad because the banter is really all that is important at the end of the day.
No, unless you're a big Magic player. I mean, like, and it was also fun to see like, hey, how does Magic work when people just don't fucking play it right? And it was pretty good.
Yeah, well, I know they like have played it historically, but not recently or at any great
like
length.
Any of the cool interactions, like, oh, okay, so there's an ability in this set called Exert, and that's like if you attack with something, you can make it so like after you attack, something is like used, it's tapped. And Exert is like it's used up for twice as long. But it gets stronger. But there's like this cool mechanic where like you can just like untap something for free on certain cards, or certain cards have things that make it so like, oh, when this thing attacks, it's not used. So like, oh, if you use its exert, it doesn't matter because like it's exerted for twice as long, but it's not exerted. So it's 0 times 0, fucking still 0. It's like crazy shit like that. And they would like try to interact with these mechanics and just like not fucking use them at all. Like he got exerted or whatever, but he had vigilance, so he stayed untapped. So it was like, oh, the drawback didn't come into play. But then Roland like tapped it so exert is like it doesn't untap your next turn. So you have to wait like 2 turns to like get it again. So this dude was like, oh shit, I'll just stay untapped. This is dope. And then Roland was like, fuck you, I'll tap it. So like the way it should work is like, oh, now the exert thing is relevant again. So he's got to wait another turn before he can use it. But Cyphus is like, well, I think I just get it again. And Roland was like, probably. And then they're just fucking like bypass every cool interaction that Roland just did. Like Roland did a cool ass play, but they didn't understand shit. So they're just like, never mind.
That's how I played Yu-Gi-Oh when I was a kid. Like you kind of just, if you say things with authority and nobody knows how to play, people are like, oh, he knows what he's doing. Remember, I had like a few Japanese cards, and I would just be like, oh, I looked it up like online, like, oh, it says, that the effect is, X, Y, or Z. And then people would just be like, well, I mean, they can't argue with me because we're all like,
they don't have smartphones yet.
Yeah, and then they're just like, oh, okay, all right. And as long as I was consistent with making things up, it was fine. So you actually brought up something that I really want to talk about.
Okay.
Have you? And I know are you good at math?
At math?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
I did pass linear algebra with a solid B+.
Yeah, I barely passed any kind of math. Anyway, okay, so do you know who Terrance Howard is?
The
actor? Have you ever heard of Teriology?
I have to look up Terrance Howard to like. I know this name. As soon as I see it,
he was in the first Iron Man.
Yeah. I know this guy.
Yeah. Okay. Have you ever heard of his mathematics, Teriology?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna explain it to you. I'm gonna read you a quote from an interview. This all stems from an interview he did with Rolling Stone like a year ago.
Crazy person.
I don't know if he's a crazy person, but he has crazy misunderstandings about math, and it was talking all about how like he's gonna write a book about teriology, like a dissertation, and explain to people the truth of math.
He has a MySpace? What the fuck?
Everybody has a MySpace. That everybody was getting it wrong. Okay.
He has music?
So this is the exact quote. How can it equal 1? Howard asked Rolling Stone. If 1 times 1 equals 1, that means that 2 is of no value because 1 times itself has no effect. 1 times 1 equals 2 because the square root of 4 is 2. So what's the square root of 2?
Whoa, wait, hold that back. 1 times
Wait,
2.
I'm going to finish the quote and then we'll go back and dissect piece by piece. Okay, so what's the square root of 2? Should be 1, but we're told it's 2, and that cannot be. I think that's the full quote. Yeah, he said he wants to... he has his own detailed version of math, the quote-unquote true universal math. And he said if Pythagoras was here to see it, he would lose his mind. Einstein, 2. Tesla. It's called teleology. Okay, so let's dissect now.
Yeah.
Okay. If 1 times 1 equals 1, that means that 2 is of no value because 1 times itself has no effect. Okay, that's the basis. Like if this is a geometric proof.
Bring up my notepad. Okay, so we can say so our first posit, if 1 plus 1 equals 2, then what's the conclusion?
1 times 1.
No. 1 times 1. Okay, so we have
1 times 1 equals 1.
Equals 1 times 1 equals 1. Yeah, so that's correct so far. All right, so we do have a correct assumption that we're working with. So this is good. This is a good framework to start with. It's really only one fact, so we're just drawing a conclusion from one fact here.
Yes. Okay, and then the second part of that sentence is that means that 2 is of no value because 1 times itself.
Okay, when he says 2 is of no value, does he mean 2 is 0? Because 0 is no value.
No, I think he means 2 is just an unnecessary fake number.
2 is worthless. Okay, so as in we might as well not even have 2. So if we accept that 1 times 1 equals 1, then that means based on that assumption, then we are also saying that we just don't believe in 2.
Yeah, basically. Okay, so let's continue. So if 1 times 1 equals 1, that means that 2 is of no value because 1 times
2 is false is basically what I'm saying here. So if 1
times 1
equals 1, then 2 is false. Okay. Yeah. What's after that?
The reasoning is that 2 has no value because 1 times itself does not change the value of 1. So basically, and that's with our current models, he's saying. So his argument is that 1 times 1 should equal 2.
Right. Okay. So this is more it's more like he's providing a parallel example to prove his conclusion.
Yes. Okay. So continuing on, he says 1 times 1 equals 2 because the square root of 4 is 2.
I'm just reframing this right now. Okay, so we have so 2 cases. It's if 1 times 1 equals 1, then 2 is false. And then it's also 1 times 1 does not change the value of 1, which is a difficult thing to parse. I say 1 times 1 does not change the value of, I want to say the first factor. I think that's more accurate to say because nothing could change the value of 1. 1 is always going to be 1. That's not how words work. Okay.
Okay, so 1 times 1 equals 2. So this is him now making his claim. He's saying that 1 times 1 equals 2 because the square root of 4 is 2. And then he continues, so what's the square root of 2? The square root of 2 should be 1, but we're told it's 2, and that cannot be. Do you want me to? I can read some more of the thing.
Okay, yeah, it's difficult because he gives his reasonings after his conclusion, so it makes it a little bit hard to say. Okay, so we've got all right. So if 1 okay, so this is fine. This is a solid. I got this one good.
I'm just reading ahead, and God, this is just my favorite thing.
Okay, so Okay, this is good. I rewrote something here. This is good. Okay, so we have our 2 opening posits that are they're at least consistent. They say the same thing. And then our conclusion, or rather what we get from these 2 models that we put forth is, okay, 1 times 1 equals 2 is the conclusion that we get because the square root of 4 is 2, therefore 1 times 1 equals 2.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Yeah. Because he's saying if it's 2 1s, 1 should not just disappear if you put them together by multiplication.
Right. It can't not do something.
Yeah.
Otherwise, why would it be there?
Exactly. Why would you ever do 1 times 1? Because
Yeah, it just seems like a
yeah. You just should just have a
in
one.
futility. If you didn't want to change anything, don't do an operation.
Okay. So after making, you know, his obviously well thought out claims in that statement, he continues on to say, "This is the last century that our children will ever have been taught that 1 times 1 is 1. They won't have to grow up in ignorance. 20 years from now, they'll know that 1 times 1 equals 2. We're about to show a new truth, the true universal math, and the proof is in these pieces. I have created the pieces that make up the motion of the universe together."
What is the word together referencing?
Together. So the pieces that he has outlined together, those make up the motion of the universe and the true universal math.
One more time with this greater understanding of how words work.
Okay, they won't have to grow up in ignorance. 20 years from now, they'll know that 1 times 1 equals 2. We're about to show a new truth, the true universal math. The proof is in these pieces. I've created the pieces that make up the motion of the universe together. So...
Okay, so the pieces part again. I've created these pieces.
I have created the pieces that make up the motion of the universe together. This is some like grand... What's the word? The grand universal theory?
Sure, a grand design or something.
It's like it's a
I think this was
thing.
what the prophets in Halo were like kind of working with, right? In Halo, there's like the prophets or whatever, and they lead the entire like alien covenant to do whatever. I'm pretty sure they were working off Terrance Howard stuff.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm glad this just got randomly brought up by you saying 0 times 0 equals 0 or whatever. Because man, this is one of those things where you just read it. And so I heard on a podcast, I think it's probably like the Rooster Teeth podcast, like a year and a half ago or whenever this came out.
Yeah.
And
I'm still kind of working with this proof that I'm trying to wrap my head around here. So if 1 times 1 equals 1, then 2 is false. 1 times 1 does not change the value of 1, therefore 2 has no value. Okay, like that's, I guess. And then, so the square root of 4 is 2, like correct. Therefore, I wrote therefores here, so because this is very strong. Therefore, 1 times 1 equals 2. I think that he may have omitted 1 or 2 of the like facts he was working with, like the things that he derived, maybe. So I'd like to maybe see like the long division that happened, not like actual long division, but you know I want to kind of see the full workout. But there's definitely something that's happening here, right? It's definitely something that I'm not getting. So I would really like to see a little bit more from on the Terranceology kind of stuff.
Man, just reading more quotes from this freaking interview. And the interview who did this, like, I cannot imagine keeping a straight face and just like nodding ahead while Terrance Howard explains these things to you. One of the quotes, he said, "I was always wondering, why does a bubble take the shape of a ball? Why not a triangle or a square? I figured it out."
Is there anything else, or did he just figure it out?
Yeah, I want to find if he explains any more of like
he's not just gonna tell you. You should buy. Like, he
it.
put in all the effort. You might as well buy his book. Like, he shouldn't just tell you.
I've not heard anything since then about this, so maybe he never put out the book, or somebody like explained to him that 1 times 1 is not addition; it is in fact multiplication.
Yeah, I think that his main issue is that he might actually not know the difference between multiplication and addition. That may be where it's going wrong.
He's like a very specific kind of dyslexia where, how like the X for multiplication is basically just a plus sign, like a little bit to the right.
Right. And the fact that he's in like at a level where multiplication is still done with an X, that also may be where some of the issues are coming from.
Yeah, I'm just trying to look,
because I mean, pretty early on, you realize like, shit, we use X for a lot of things. Let's stop using X for multiplication too. That gets confusing pretty fast. Once you got X times X, you're just like, is this a porno? What's going on?
Basically, not a very good one. God, yeah, he's just okay. Yeah, apparently he's got a whole lot of weird ideas about things.
Well,
not just math.
He's good at everything.
Yeah.
Okay, he's a good actor, right? I don't really know anything about actors. I've
never disliked him as an actor. I think he's a good actor. Sure, why not?
Yeah, like Aubrey Plaza is like good at things, and that like I like watching stuff that she's in because she's funny.
Okay,
and
that was a tangent.
Really about all I know about acting.
That's the only actor/actress that you know.
At this
she's
exact
in
moment,
Legion.
yes.
Have you watched Legion?
Yeah, that's
You
the
watched
last thing
Legion,
that
right?
she
You
was in
said it
that
was
I really
great.
liked. Yeah, she was great.
Okay. I'm
Yeah,
still just trying to find
I
any
liked
more
Legion.
of
Legion was
Terrance
good.
Howard's
Who?
math.
What other actors exist? Can you name an actor for me?
Michael Cera.
Oh yeah, yeah, he does that. He
I'm
fucked up
really
Scott
bad
Pilgrim
when it
though.
comes to actors and stuff. Steve,
Charlie Day.
Charlie Day, my
That's
favorite
one.
actor, Charlie Day.
He's talented.
Oh, wait, no, that is actually his name. I was thinking like, oh, you're
Yeah.
just saying that It's Always Sunny
No,
character.
he's
Like, no, that's
literally-
his actual
he
name.
Literally just acts as himself in the fucking show.
The fact that him and the barista lady are married in real life, once I learned
Oh
that
my
when I was
God.
watching season
I
1,
forgot.
that made me enjoy the show way more.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, I've been watching a good amount of It's Always Sunny because they got like 10 seasons of that shit on Netflix, maybe more. I'm just up to season 10 now. I can't wait for it to end, and then I'll be very depressed. But I mean, that show is great, honestly.
Oh, wait,
I'm glad that
found-
we reference it all the time on the show.
I found some more details about Teriology.
Okay.
Um,
Is it coming
He
to a
said
theater
we've-
near you? That's what I need to really know right now.
what?
Is it coming out soon?
I don't
Wanna read
think
the
it's
book?
coming out at all.
That's
Because this is all from like late 2015. Okay, he says we've got all these different faces that want to come out. There's at least 4 just in this moment, with a possible expansion to 432. But which one do you let out? Is it the person who's cool that you've mastered? Is it the excited little boy? So that's like he somehow decided, he devised a way
Terrance,
to
let
separate.
the little boy out, okay? Like,
Yeah.
that sounds like abuse. Just let him out. Whatever's going on.
This one at least makes
you gotta
sense.
let him
It's
out.
I'm interested in how he got to the number of 432.
Yeah.
In that, like, he's like, all right, basically you just boil this down. This is like some kind of weird way to describe, like, oh, you have different personalities and like sides to yourself. But instead, he's like, all right, you got faces, and there's 432 of them. And yeah,
I mean, that's a simple number to digest.
okay. What else? Let's see. People are okay. 0 point technology. Think about one thing that's not moving in the universe that everything holds on to. That's 0 point technology. If you control the one thing everything rests upon, then you control everything. There's no longer the laws of conservation of energy. It's the laws of transmutation of energy. It's alchemy.
Yeah. Okay. So teriology actually works in base 9, and 432 actually just is 48 in base 9.
What is
So that's
base
why-
9?
That's when your number system, instead of a deca system, instead of 1 through 10, you're 1 through 9.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, because it just makes more sense to be by 9.
Man, proud. Okay. Okay. Oh my god. Okay,
What's
so
your favorite Gundam?
I've never watched any of Gundam.
What the fuck, dude?
Can I talk about something Dota related though, since we've like literally not talked about Dota at all today?
Okay.
Well, like
Talked about
we're at the end of
cosmetics.
this probably. Oh, we did do that. My good real life friend is about to hit 5K, and I am having like a bit of a crisis about it. I feel
Is it
like
Nicktoons?
no, not him. It's actually a different friend, also named Nick though. Nicktoons, I think, is like 4,700 or something. He's climbed a
Oh,
lot.
really? Nice.
Yeah. That's my reaction exactly. Is like all my real life friends are getting close to 5K. I'm like, oh my god, really? Because I don't play with them, so I don't have any like idea of how good they are at Dota 2. And now I'm feeling like that onus of like, man, if my friend Nick hits 5K and then passes me, I'm gonna have to like have a reckoning. And
Yeah.
and like I can, of course, I could make excuses. Like he has a very hero spam centric way of climbing MMR, but like obviously
Yeah, but
he's
that's
getting
an
there. So
awful
like,
excuse.
that's what I'm saying. Like obviously, it's perfectly legitimate. Like he's getting to these points. So I'm like proud of my friends, but also, man, I'm never gonna live it down if my like friends are better than me at Dota 2 numerically. That's just not
Right.
something that can happen. Like in real life, like it's fine. Like there are obviously there's tons of people that are better than me at Dota on the internet. But man, if I'm in real life and I'm not the best of my real life associates at Dota 2, like that's gonna be damaging to my like ability to maintain humanity. So yeah, that's that. I just got a Snapchat that showed him at 49.92, and I was
Okay,
like,
so
oh
he's
god.
like there.
Yeah, but like not there yet. Like maybe he'll lose like 900 games.
Yeah, you never know.
A boy can dream.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't have like we talk about Dota so recently as far as like weekend Dota conversations.
Yeah.
I can talk about. Okay, so we're almost at an hour. I have like one last bit, I guess we can tangentialize about before we close out the Patreon episode.
Dude, what we got?
Okay, so I was recently, and I actually started the show talking about this, and then somehow we got off on a billion tangents. So recently I went on a bit of a Twitter rant about just like people being really bad at Dota. It's a constant thing that I'm just amazed by. And I wanted to kind of like refine that thought a bit more because I could see how I got some response that were like, yeah, like I'm bad at Dota. And I was like, no, you don't get it. Like, I'm not saying people are bad at Dota. I'm saying some people are so incredibly bad at Dota that defies expectations. So my primary frustration has been in easy games becoming hard because people do not understand basic conceptual things in Dota, right? It's not about being bad mechanically or being bad because like you're a jerk or you're like intentionally feeding and stuff like that. This is all rooted because in a game I played, I was playing TA, and then we had a safe lane, tri-lane effectively with an Enchantress in the jungle, but mostly in lane. Then Juggernaut and what was the third hero? Venomancer, yeah. And like that's such an amazing pushing thing, right? Like the offlane was like a Bristleback and a Lion. You just killed a lion, who cares? But it's such like a linear thing, right? It's so simple. Like anybody else, this is in very high skill, obviously. Like theoretically, these people should know this, right? Like this is the top, whatever, 10%, 20%, whatever.
Yeah.
And that's what really like grinds my gears. It's not like people making mistakes. If people make mistakes, that's fine. But like, how do you play Dota and not understand? Like, we have 3 heroes that push. They have a Bristleback. He's weak at level 1. We played
an Enchantress lane that one time, and like whoever we put on it, they just didn't take the tower ever. They just kind of like chilled. It's like
stuff like that.
Take the tower, dude.
It just bugs me because it's not like. Yeah, it just God, Dota is just such a frustrating game.
I get you. I mean, I had a game yesterday where 2 people selected roamers, and then the last person selected a support. And then then the fucking Undying, which was one of our 2 roamers, like farmed all game against the Spectre. And we were against Spectre techies and like Magnus and shit. And it was like, all right, we got to push. I was Lone Druid. I went Deso. I was like, I'm ready. Let's push. And then we had to 4-man because our Undying was like AFK farming. He was pinging how close he was to a fucking Black King bar. I'm like, buddy, like, we can't wait for your fucking Ags Black King bar Undying build. We're against the Spectre. They ain't gonna do shit. We got in the game, but nope, dog. You had to push. We had to get our fucking 3 support lineup fighting ready. People, man. Dota 2.
Yeah. It's just like this. So there's like different ways to be bad at a game or like good at a game or whatever. But I feel like everybody has those basic things. Maybe like my assumptions are too. I'm assuming people are better than they are because I mean through the podcast community, like we interact with people that are like less than 1,000 MMR that have better grasps and understandings of the game conceptually than people I see in pubs that are like 3,800 or like 4,000 or whatever. And it just boggles my mind. Like as much as I think the MMR system is a pretty generally decent system in the sense that like as a gauge of skill, you can go within ranges of saying, X, Y, and Z, that's how good people are. But it just like that's what gets me super, super, super tilted.
There are. It's like the MMR system is a good indicator of how good someone is at winning a pub match. I think that's pretty. I think that's a pretty great way to say it, because like there are certain people that I have played with at certain MMRs where I'm like, even in in-houses and stuff. Like I'm not gonna like name names or whatever, but there's like at least one person that like does well in our in-houses that like I would never ever want to be on a team with them if I needed to win like a remotely organized match of Dota 2. But in a pub, like clearly they have a fine MMR. Like I would take like I'd rather be on a team with like I'm trying to think of the most inoffensive thing to say that implies a person is bad and also good. I'll just say Grouty. I would rather have
I was gonna say
Grouty.
Grouty also.
I would rather have like Grouty than this like probably about like mid 5K player that I know if I was making a competitive team, just because like, yeah, they can win pubs, but like, holy shit, they are fucking awful at this game. Oh my fucking god, is this person so goddamn bad? But they can play whatever they need to mechanically fine, so they win games, but they're just fucking stupid as shit.
Yeah, that's definitely the case. And I mean, obviously, MMR is, it's a combined result of a lot of different factors, right? So, you can get to any given MMR with being very strong mechanically, but very weak strategically, or vice versa, or, very good at coordination, or very good at team fight, whatever. So, it is what it is, but it's just, yeah, I've basically just learned that I should never have any expectations of people, regardless of how high or low their MMR is, because they will always find a way to surprise me. Both, seeing lower MMR people do really well, and I'm like, wow, that's perfect. And then seeing high MMR people just be complete idiots and absolutely remarkably incompetent.
Yeah, the Undying on my team that was just jungling, he was the highest MMR in the game. I was like, all right.
Yeah. It's
great.
Yeah, God. Yeah, so that's just my little like being tilted corner. So it's like every time I make a tweet spree like that, I'm like, I don't want people to misinterpret that and be like, oh, Ursi hates people that are like bad at Dota. I'm like, no, I hate people that are just not like, they're bad at Dota in different ways, I should say.
Yeah. There's like being mad because someone, like made a mistake or whatever, or like got caught out. And then there's being mad that like someone is in a crazy great position to succeed and they just choose not to based on like nothing. You're like,
that's like
come on.
The way I was talking about it. I forget who else I was talking about it with, but I was saying that like Dota is generally a hard game, right? Like there's a lot of games of Dota that are difficult because, they're even, or both team comps are relatively even, or, you have a hard matchup, or you just, Dota's a complicated game. There's a lot of moving parts, but not every game is like that. Like a lot of games of Dota are, not a majority, of course, but a lot of games of Dota are easy games. Like that game, like, okay, we have 3 heroes that push. We have them all in the safe lane. We have an off laner that can make space and allow you to push. We have a mid laner that benefits from pushing. So just do the thing that you're good at, and they don't have counters to it. It's like, that's a very simple thing to execute and to figure out and be like, okay, we have 3 heroes that push. Why don't we push? Like, that's what bothers me. Like, this is not rocket science, my friend.
No,
anyway, that was
totally
an easy
agree.
game that became
that game
hard.
I lost, I had double the Spectre's net worth at like fucking at like 15 minutes, like literally double the net worth. And our entire team is like the top 4 slots are 3 of our heroes for net worth, and just like, nah, let's just not end against this Spectre. Let's see if we can get to a point where the Spectre haunts and then kills our sniper within 3 seconds, and let the techies get his ags and get mines up. That'll work out. It's just like, buddy, like, what are you doing? What? Surely you knew this was the outcome when you saw they picked a Spectre and we had a sniper. Surely you understood.
Yeah. Okay. I'm pretty done though. We've passed an hour. We really spanned the gambit of all kinds of different.
I'm glad that we were able to actually tackle Terranceology this time.
Yeah, Terryology.
Terrance, I'm glad. We've been trying to get at Terrance Howardology for a long time, and it's good that we finally kind of put that one to rest.
Okay. That's it. All right, so let's close it out, shall we? I'm at Ursi on Twitter. Proud is at Proud on Twitter.
I'm pretty sure if you're listening to this, you know that already.
It's the Patreon, so we don't need to do a bunch of plugs. But thanks for listening. Hopefully this was fun. Suggest us topics, I guess, for future Patreon episodes.
Also, especially if you like what we do and you want to support us, consider subscribing to our Patreon. Yeah,
that would be fun. But yes. Anyway,
get your fucking friend to do it.
That's true. Yeah, spread the love, dude. If you're friends with Terrance Howard, have him listen, and then he can find out why we think his math is real good.
If you have a friend that has money to give to us, then the Patreon is something that you could tell them about, and then they could give the money to us through the Patreon system.
Okay, that's it. All right. I feel like I'm Roland. Like Roland can't close out shows. I can't close out this. I don't have plugs to do.
Well, that's because every time you start, I just like start saying words, and then you gotta like restart your closing system, and then I'm just gonna keep saying words like what I'm doing right now.
All right. I'm done.